Have you ever had a bad day in your life? Now, if you're on this planet as I am, then definitely yes, we all go through some bad days. Never quit on a bad day. This is Now Tell Us. I'm your host, Anthony Moirore. At Now Tell Us, we have guests come and tell us stories. They come and inspire us. They come and educate us on a subject. And always we are having great guests. Today we have a great guest. Her name is Phoebe Trotman. And she's going to be here shortly to tell us never to quit on a bad day. Before we go and meet her, I would like to remind you to please share this episode with all your friends. Subscribe to our channels. If you have a question, ask. We like answering questions. If you have a comment, we love feedback. So don't shy away from giving us any comment that you may have. And now, without taking one more minute, I would like to invite you to join me as we go together to meet Phoebe. Here we go. Hello, Phoebe.
Hi, Anthony. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much. It's truly an honor and a pleasure to be here with you today.
Yes, and we are honored to have you here at Now Tell Us to come and tell us some things that we are glad listening to.
Well, it's absolutely my pleasure. I really appreciate the invite, and I love what you're doing with your podcast and just sharing stories and inspiring people all over the world. So I just want to say thank you and kudos to you for launching Now Tell Us and all your success.
Yeah, thank you. I'm honored for that to hear that from you. Now, I'm curious, where is it in the world that you are?
I am coming to you from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada.
Wow, all the
Yes.
way from the other side of the world, because I'm in
All the way
Africa.
from the other side. Isn't it the beautiful thing of technology? We can connect and
Yeah,
it feels like we're almost in the same room.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's not like some decades ago when you had to wait for a letter for months before you can also reply and then wait. Things have changed, and we appreciate that technology has made things easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what is it that you do? What does Phoebe do in her life?
Phoebe is an entrepreneur, so I have wear a lot of different hats depending on the moment and the time of day. So I
Mm-hmm.
actually my background's in athletics, a high-level soccer player, and so I actually oversee a program for kids under 4 to under 7, so the little guys, 3 to 7-year-olds running around the soccer field. So it's a passion of mine. I absolutely love to give and serve and help the next generation of coaches and players. So that's one Phoebe hat. The other Phoebe hat has an online business. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing that now for 16, going on 17 years as well. And then most recently, Phoebe has become an author and just released her first book as well too. So lots of different hats and really just loving it and being able to enjoy life and help people along the way.
That's beautiful. And a female soccer player, that's not something of an everyday thing. So, how did you get into soccer, if I may ask?
Absolutely. Well, I actually started playing when I was 4 or 5. I have an older brother, Troy. He's 4 years older, and so I actually started playing because he was playing, and so I would be the little sister that gets, goes around to his games and watching him and his team and kind of being on the sideline. And so I asked my parents if I could play too,
Mm-hmm.
and then we started. There somehow I ended up on an all boys team. Back then there weren't a lot of girls playing and a lot of girls, even though it was just a couple years ago. Just kidding, it
Mm-hmm.
was longer than that. But back then there wasn't as many female teams at that young age. And so I actually started playing on a boys team. So it's really rewarding seeing now how many young girls are starting to play soccer at 3, 4, 5. Because I started, playing on an all boys team many years ago, and I've just kind of continued through. I did other sports as well, in junior high and high school, but
Mm-hmm.
soccer was my primary sport. And here we are, 40 plus years later playing.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. And you now you talk you started you said that you started in boys teams, but you ended up in a girls team. Have you played competitively, or was it just a hobby that you
I
tell us
have
how far,
think of
tell us
Yeah.
how far you've been?
Well, I've been extremely fortunate with
Mhm.
my soccer career that I have played right through. So I played for university, Simon Fraser University, which is a university here in British Columbia. Then I did go down to the States, to Colorado. I played one season down there. And then I came back and played on the Vancouver professional team that we had back then as well for 6 seasons.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Wow,
it's been fun. Are you a
that's
sports guy as well?
I'm a sport. I was a sports guy when I was in high school. I used to love basketball, but you don't want to see me play because
Oh, that's okay. I love
I, I,
basketball too.
I didn't make it to the team. I
Oh
couldn't.
no, but as long as you enjoyed it, as long as you
Yeah,
enjoyed
and
playing,
then yeah, and then I was into running a bit here and there. I remember I won third place in was it 3,000 meters steeplechase or something. Yeah, way
wow.
back some years back, 30 years back. It's long.
Some years ago. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and now being in sports and entrepreneur, what was your or what is, because I still believe that you're in it, your online business.
Yeah, so I'm a representative with an online system that allows business owners and people to keep in touch through a unique greeting card and gifting platform. So
Uh-huh.
the parent company is called Promptings, and it basically is a company that encourages people when you're thinking of someone, reach out in kindness to them. The
Mm,
world, there's so much. People are going through such challenging times, and the whole philosophy of Promptings is, we all have those times and those moments when we'll think of someone. Someone will pop
mm,
into heart in our head, and a lot of times we don't do anything with that, but there is a reason that that person came into your head and your heart. And so
mm,
the company's philosophy is reach out to that person, let them know you're thinking about them, because there's a reason that they cross your head and heart. And typically most of the time, like, because it's through a greeting card or gifts that you can send through this platform. And typically we find, like, over the years, the stories that come out of it, because so many people will get that card or that note on a day that they're having such a challenging time. And so it's a beautiful company and heart-centered mission. And so I've, yeah, partnered up with them many, many years ago, and here we are years later.
that's good. And yeah, it's good when you remember someone and you remember to send them a gift, a message. It's good. I love that. Never quit on a bad day. Now, that's just not just a phrase for you. It's something more than that. Tell us about that.
It is. It's a philosophy, it's a mantra, it's a lifestyle.
Mm,
Because we all, as you said, in the intro, we all go through challenging times. We truly go through challenging times. Life is hard. Life is hard. There's a lot
it
of bumps
is.
in the road. And especially if you're someone who's pursuing greatness and wants to accomplish their goals and dreams, there will be bumps in the road. And I've had a lot of bumps in the road, whether it's on my soccer journey as an athlete as well as an entrepreneur. And it's one of those philosophies that if you truly sit and think about it, most people don't quit on a good day. They typically don't. It's usually when it's a bad day, you're frustrated, your emotions are running high, and that's when it's like, I'm done. I'm over it. And so I believe if we can continue and more people can push through those challenging times, on the other side of it is typically where the growth happens. When you push through those challenging times, we really grow into the person we're meant to be, and
Mhm.
also what we can accomplish. And I'm not saying, don't ever quit. There is a time when you need to quit something, if a lifestyle isn't serving you well, if a relationship isn't serving you well,
Mhm.
even in some ways, if your career isn't taking you to where you want to go, there might be a time to transition and move forward into something else. But the key is to do it on a good day, because when you do it on a good day, then you're doing it from a clear mindset, and your emotions are typically, you're doing it where you're moving forward to something greater, because you know that what you're doing right now isn't serving your purpose, your long-term goals and your vision for your life.
Wow, that's a perspective that I've not come to think of now, is that you're bringing it to us. So if I have to quit, I quit on a good day. That's interesting.
Absolutely, because there are times where you do have to move forward, right?
Yeah.
It's not something, and again, especially if it's like something of a lifestyle that isn't serving you. And I think it really comes down to having that clarity for your vision, for your future. Because if you know what you want your future to look like, then you start making choices and decisions based on moving towards that vision and that for your future. If
Mhm.
there's something that isn't helping you move towards that, then yeah, it might be time to pivot, but we're saying do it from a place where you have a clear mindset. You're not doing it because you're emotionally frustrated. You're doing it because you realize there's something bigger and better out there for you, and you want to move towards it.
Mm. Wow, wow, that's wonderful. So at this point, I want to say hi to all people who are watching us, whatever it is that you are. Hi, Costas. Good evening. We appreciate you being here, and everyone who's here. You can always comment, ask a question, and we appreciate your presence. Now, never quit on a bad day. That's more than just a statement, as I said. Uh, when at what point did you start thinking of getting really serious on this quote? Because I've and the way the reason that I'm stressing that is because I have seen such great potential in what you're doing. So at what
Thank
point did
you.
you think, hey, I gotta make this into something bigger than what it is?
It's interesting how life works,
Mhm.
because it was just 9 months ago, I was actually visiting s 2 friends, incredibly successful entrepreneurs. They have an online business as well, and they've done very, very well.
Mhm.
And we were sitting there, we were chatting about, our businesses, and often when entrepreneurs get together, it's like you have that conversation of how things are going, how you got started as a business owner and entrepreneur, and then it kind of morphs into this, "Well, what's next?" And I had shared with them that I always had it on my heart to create something to help inspire people. I didn't know what it was gonna be. I've been inspired by so many mentors over the years, whether it was mentors, they knew they were my mentor in terms of someone with direct coaching, and then a
Mhm.
lot of mentors just through plugging in through podcasts, through YouTube videos, through conventions and trainings, and personal development's really important to me, and it's a core value of mine to continue to learn and grow. And so I wanted to provide something to help people, and I wasn't really sure what it was going to be. And I was sharing this with my friends, and they actually are the ones who suggested write a book. And when they said it, I kind of had I laughed a little bit because I have had a couple people over the years say, "Well, when's your book coming out?" And it wasn't necessarily something that I didn't see it in my future. It wasn't something that I had a burning desire to create a book. I knew I or write a book, so I knew I wanted to create something. I just wasn't really sure. And
Mhm.
it's so interesting truly how God works, because it's like one of those things where sometimes if you won't make a move, like he'll make that move for you and nudge you in that direction. And so we were talking about it, and I had shared earlier on that one of the reasons I work so hard with my team to get to the top of my company, we have different ranks in our company, and I worked really, really hard, is because I really wanted other people to see that someone like them could do it. You could be a minority, you can be single, you can be young or old, you can be any, it doesn't matter. It's making that decision. And so I worked really, really hard to hit that. And they kind of reminded me that the book isn't for me, it's for all the people that it can help. And when they said that, knowing that one of my core values is really helping others, then I simmered on it, and I really dug deep. And I said to myself, I was like, well, if I'm going to write a book, it has to help people. And I definitely have to be inspired by it. And so I simmered on it that night. And about a month before, I had the honor of being inducted into a local sports hall of fame here in Coquitlam. And in that interview, when we had the induction night, they had asked what sport has given me. And I shared, I've learned so many things through sport, and I've had incredible highs. But the only reason I've been able to have the awards and the success that I've had in sport is because of the challenging times, the times when I got cut from a team, the
Mhm.
times when I was sitting on the bench, watching the team play and wanting to be on there, the time that I didn't make the starting lineup, like all those lows, pushing through those and continuing to play is the way I was able to have the highs. And so that night when I was simmering on it, it all kind of came together, and the saying, never quit in a bad day, kind of came to me. And I
Mhm.
like to do this open the door, close the door thing with God, where I'm like, okay, God, open the door. If it's meant to happen, if I'm supposed to move in this direction, then the domain name never quit on a bad day will be available. If
Mhm.
it isn't available, then I know this isn't the right movement pattern for right now, and I'll still simmer on it. And so when I got home, I put it in, never quit on a bad day, and it was available .com.ca, and I just was like, okay, I guess I have to move forward with this. And, you know, there was still that hesitation and that doubt and the questions, should I really do this? I'm not sure. And then the vision, because I've always wanted to combine something in terms of my life as an entrepreneur and my life as an athlete. Then
Hmm.
it was like, well, this can help people. This saying can help people. Just even hearing the saying and thinking about it when you're living your life will help people move forward. And so once I saw that the domain name was available, I did purchase it right away. Still was simmering on it, but then I just got more and more excited about it. And I shared it with one of my dear friends and mentors and just said, hey, I have this idea. What do you think about this? And she was like, oh my gosh, absolutely. And so it went from there. And then the vision, it originally was just going to be the one book. And now the vision's grown for to just create a full brand around it and just share people's stories of perseverance and resilience to help other people learn how strong they truly are.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a beautiful story, an inspiring one. So you're talking about a book, Never Quit on a Bad Day. That's the cover I've seen by Phoebe Trotman and Thriving Entrepreneurs. So when this idea came and you wanted to turn it into something and the book has been mentioned to you, did you just start with the book or you just bought the domain? What came up first on the domain?
So I purchased the domain right away just because it was, again, it was a sign to me that it was supposed to move forward with it. And originally, when I was first looking at doing the book, I did know I wanted certain things that were really important to me. I did want it to be in a short story format so that someone can just pick it up, read a story, take 15 minutes out of their day and be inspired.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that I did want that. I did want it to be an sort of a workbook in some ways as well, where the reader would have a chance to dig deep and just truly uncover their own resilience in through reading the book and through the kind of exercises at the end. So I knew those two things were important. Originally, I was going to start off with stories of athletes and entrepreneurs into one book. And then as I started simmering on it a little bit more, I realized that I actually wanted to separate it. Now, this book, even though it's Thriving Entrepreneurs, it really is a book for anyone. It isn't a business book, if you will, because the stories are just stories of people who had a goal, who were going after something and were hit with setbacks. And so, and then from there, I was started thinking of, well, who are people that have inspired me along the journey that I would love to include in the book if they're open to it. And I just started writing lists of names of people for the entrepreneurs one, for the athletes one. There, you know, in the future, there'll be a couples one, there'll be a women's one. Like the vision just kind of kept growing in terms of ideas and people I wanted to connect with. And so then I started writing the questions. So what I did was I actually took some time and thought, okay, well, what stories, how do I want to get the information from these people? And so I started reaching out to some of the people who are featured in the book and just asked them. I said, hey, I have this idea, this is what I'd like to create, and you've inspired me so much along the journey. I'd be honored if you'd consider being a part of it. And so the people in there said yes. There were people who said no. I want to let people know it wasn't that everyone said yes right away. And there were people who I reached out to who the timing didn't work for them, or just whatever it was, they decided not to participate. I even had people who said yes and then they didn't because of life happened. There were shifts. So it wasn't that it was just everything rolled really easily. There were challenges. And again, it's funny, the name of the book, Never Quit on a Bad Day, I had to remind myself along the journey, even right up until the book was released, I got hit with some stuff that I wasn't really planning. I thought, if anything, it might have happened earlier on in the process, but there was some stuff that happened right before that even threw me. And I, you know, thank goodness for mentors who reminded me, hey, think about the title of your book. And that kept me going. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's been a process, but it's been fun. And just seeing where it is now to from an idea to it's actually here, and the feedback and reviews that we've been getting has been phenomenal in terms of people being moved and inspired and truly just enjoying the book.
Mm. That's that's life. I mean, in life, you're going to have the good days and bad days, the valleys and the mountains, and you've got to face life as it comes. You never know what's going to hit you tomorrow, so you'd better be prepared. And the way to be prepared is to remind yourself never to quit on a bad day. So yeah, it's a good one.
Absolutely. And one other thing I should mention too, because you asked, like, the book, how the format, and one thing that was really important to me in the book is, so there at the end of every chapter, there's a QR code. And when you
Okay.
scan the QR code, it launches a video. And so all the contributors in the book, so I have one here, I'll just show you really quick. At the end, so there's a little workbook, so you can fill out, kind of, the reader has a chance to kind of fill out their own reflections. And there's
Mm-hmm.
also a QR code. So at the end of every chapter, there's a QR code that the reader can scan. There's actually encouragement from that contributor, because I also wanted the book to come to life. I wanted the reader to have a chance to actually hear and meet this person. And so the videos are really unique, because I just said record something short that'll inspire people. And so every chapter you finish with a little video that you can watch whenever you want. You can power through all of them at one time. You can watch them as you read the chapter. It's really up to the reader. So it's kind of your own experience. I grew up on the books Choose Your Own Adventure, which I loved. And so this book kind of has that feel where you can go in different directions. You can read it from cover to cover, or you can open it and just read a chapter.
That's cute. Which is your favorite story?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh, my favorite story. I'm going to say it's one of the ones at the end, with a friend of mine named Simon Chan, very well known, inspiring coach, author himself. What I love about his story is he was pushing through to do something big, and he kind of did it a little bit earlier. And I don't want to give any spoilers, but he was hit with some setbacks along his journey. And one of the things that I love is he talks about how there was a quote that really inspired him, and it's one that basically, if you're feeling that adversity, typically, if you push through that, you're right around the corner from success. So when you're
Hmm.
faced with those challenges, keep going, because typically success is right on the other side. You're usually closer to that win than you actually know. And so I just love his story, and he's been an incredible mentor to me over the years as well. So to have him share in the book really meant a lot. And he does talk about too, when if in his little video, again, don't want to give too many spoilers, but about that, if you're going to quit, you quit on a good day. And there is a chapter that I was laughing, because I had already written the chapter about when to quit, and he mentioned that as well in his video when he sent it in. And so I knew that was important to share, because I didn't want anyone thinking that you never quit, because there are times when you do need to transition and transition forward into something else.
Oh, yeah. That's good. Now we have Emily Jerry, who is asking what inspired you to write the book. Now, Emily, you might have come a bit late, and that's why we ask people to go back and rewatch the video, because she shares everything. But anyway, thank you for asking the question. We really appreciate you watching. And please share this with your friends. Each and everyone who's watching, please share it out there. So we asked you to rewind the video after we are through. Now, you've been through some challenges, and as you said, the challenges have helped you to rise beyond where you were before, and rise higher. So keep on soaring like the eagle. And I may ask you, which has been your biggest challenge that you faced?
Wow, that's a great question. The biggest challenge would be when my dad was diagnosed with cancer and him passing
Mm.
away. That was a very low time in my life, because I mean, like, it out of nowhere, 1 minute things are one way, and then your whole life shifts. I'm very grateful that I was able to have time with him, in terms of having a business that I was able to, in some ways, step back from building my business, if you will, but the business continued because of the model and the passive and residual income, that I was able to just kind of step back, take that time, and just be present and have those moments. And then even after he passed, it was hard. It was very, very hard. I continued to keep going, because I know that that's what he would have wanted, and for my mom and my brother. That being said, there were a lot of very dark and challenging times that I went through. It was really, really hard, and anyone who is grieving, it is a rough go, and it was never knew when it would hit and how it would hit, and it's still very challenging to talk about. And it's been 12 years. It just, your life shifts in a way I didn't expect to go through that at that moment. So I would say
Yeah,
that
we never
was
know.
challenging.
We never know
Mhm.
what's coming. How far back was that?
That was 12 years ago.
12 years
12 years
ago.
ago. Mhm. Mhm.
So it's not an easy thing to lose a loved one. I just lost a sister about 2 weeks
Oh.
ago, and I
Oh,
feel
I'm so sorry, Anthony. It's hard. It is.
it.
My heart hurts. And yeah, it's, I've lost people over the years who I had close relationships with,
Hmm.
never to to this extent. And my heart just, in terms of when people are going through tough stuff. And that's why it's so important just to be kind to people. Because as we know,
Yeah.
we don't know what someone's going through. And there are
Hmm.
times where people will, they might lash out, they might be a little bit short, they might be this. It's not personal. They
Hmm.
might. Everyone has their own challenges and struggles that they're going through. And so sometimes I think one of the things that I've truly learned through going through this is just to be kind to people and not to take things personal. If someone does lash out at you for whatever reason, it's
Hmm.
not personal. They may be going through their own battle, that something just happened or they got hit with terrible news or they just lost someone. So have that heart of compassion and be empathetic to them, because we don't know what they're going through. And you being kind, even in amidst someone being not so kind, that
Hmm.
will hit them in a different way. And when you come out of it, and there were many years where I was in a fog. I literally was in a fog. I didn't know I was in a fog. I thought I was okay. But looking back, I was like, oh, I missed a chunk of time because I wasn't present. And so I just want to encourage people, if they're listening, be kind to other people, because we don't know what they're going through. And your kindness will have a ripple effect. It will change that person, maybe not right then and there, but it will change that person and can help that person, just a little bit of kindness.
Yeah. Yeah. Never quit. You never know
Mhm.
who's going through something and what kind of thing they are going through. So be kind. Be kind to people. And if you're the one who's going through that, never quit
Mm.
on a bad day. Never quit. Don't quit. If you're having challenges in your business, don't quit. If you've lost someone that was so dear to you, don't quit. If you're in sports and it's hard for you to win, don't quit. Keep moving. That's the reminder that Phoebe has brought to Now Tell Us today. Phoebe has written a book, Don't Quit on a Bad Day. Phoebe has so many other things going in that brand. I've seen that you've got some merchandise. Can you tell us about them?
I
And this is why
do.
I'm seeing the potential of your brand being so big.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so on the website, we do have some merchandise. We have, like, tank tops and hoodies and mugs, and really the vision behind it is, for some people may like to read, some people might not like to read, but also it's to remind you to keep pushing through. I have this, that when I see it, it reminds me, keep going. Just the other day, I was at the gym and I was exhausted. I went in because I made that commitment to work out, but I really was tired. It was an exhausting week and day, and it was just feeling a little low energy. And I walk in, and one of my friends, fellow gym mates, if you will, she's wearing a tank top, never quit on a bad day. And just in seeing it, I was like, let's go. Right? It's that reminder, so that when you see, or you put on that sweatshirt or you put on your tank top, you're saying to yourself, I am going to keep going. I'm not going to quit on a bad day. I know there's going to be bumps in the road, but I can keep going. And not even that, you're going to inspire other people. Just like my friend Jen, when she was wearing that tank top and I saw it, it reminded me, keep going. I'm here. I'm here to show up. I'm going to work hard, and it's
Hmm.
going to be a tough workout, but I can push through it. And so in wearing, a tank top or a hoodie, or you having the mug, other people around you will see it and be inspired as well too. And that's really my goal with the Never Quit on a Bad Day kind of brand, is to let people know and just encourage people, when you're going after your dreams, just keep going, and truly to inspire other people their community. Because if we all can keep going, just think of what the world's going to look like if people go after their goals and dreams, how different things will look. And I just want people to have a happy life, really to enjoy it. We have one life, as we know, we just talked about losing people who are close to us. And so you want to make the most of the time that you're here, and really enjoy it. And so it's been fun. I've already started, I just actually am about to launch, well, launch-ish, new a guided workbook for creating good days. So that just came out the official launch will be tomorrow, and this one is more about dreaming bigger. So it's really is for the reader to dream big, and it's a workbook in the sense that it's about you. And so there's exercises in here that have been transformational for me, and then I've added to them because my goal and vision is to help people dream big dreams, go after those dreams, enjoy living those dreams, and inspire other people along the way as well too.
That's wonderful. That's beautiful. I love that. Now, for someone who may not have gotten this up to now, because there is always going to be that person who hasn't got, please tell us your website.
Absolutely. So it's neverquitonabadday.com. So just neverquitonabadday.com. Oh, thank you, Anthony, for putting it up there. You can head over to the website. You can join us on Instagram, Facebook. It's Never Quit on a Bad Day as well. So yeah, well, there's lots of places you can find us. And one of the things that I always throw out to people is I want to challenge people to post their goal, make that declaration. What's something to everyone who's watching? What's something you're going after right now? Whether it's a goal, a dream, what is something that lights your fire that you're excited about? And I'm encouraging people to, if you have a copy of the book, fabulous, take a selfie with the book, or if you have swag, take a selfie with it and post it. If you don't, it doesn't matter. Post what your goal is. Post with a hashtag never quit on a bad day, and just think of how much that'll inspire other people. And that's really, again, the vision is to inspire other people to start dreaming. There's a lot of people out there who right now don't necessarily have goals or a vision, and it's so important to have that so that you can move forward, and you're moving forward with that confidence and posture that you know where you're going. And so I'd love to encourage that, and just make sure you tag us so we can see it. And we love to cheer people along on their journey too, and celebrate with you guys when you hit those goals and dreams as well.
Thank you very much, Phoebe. We really appreciate you coming to this show today.
Absolutely my pleasure, Anthony. Thank you so much for everything you're doing with your podcast and just inspiring people, because it's so true when one person takes action and leads by example and starts to create a life that's exciting for them, it inspires other people. It really does open up other people's dreams as well too. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing to inspire, to educate, to help, and to encourage as well too with this podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much too. So once again, the website is neverquitonabadday.com, and you'll find a lot. You'll find a lot, and this is just the scratch of what the future holds for Phoebe and the brand. Now, before we go, we would like you to leave us with a few words that we should always remember. Which are they, Phoebe?
Few words. Dream big. Go after those goals. And just remember, never quit on a bad day.
Yeah, that's good. That's all that we need to remember. Never quit on a bad day. Once again, thank you very much for all of you who've been watching or listening. We really appreciate you for your time here. But most, we thank Phoebe for coming to this episode and sharing all that she shared with us. Never quit on a bad day. That's it for today. Bye. I've been your host, Anthony Muirore, together with our guest today, Phebe Trotman. We're saying bye for now. Until next time.